From the financial capital of the galaxy, this is Blood Money. I'm your host, Rose Rosenthorn. Join me in the Predatory Lender team as we cut into today's action. Joining us in the studio today is Jarbond and Annie. And from afar we have Grand Kuka and Chart. The holiday toy season has just passed. Can you tell us how the charts look, Chart?
Certainly, Rose. Now, the toy and video game stocks have had quite a run this holiday week. Now, looking at the toy stocks, you can see that they've had quite a run of late, now currently sitting above all of its moving averages and heading higher. Stochastics is starting to embed, so that gives us more signs of upside. As for the Bollinger Bands, it's just underneath the bands and moving steadily higher. As for the multimedia, or aka video game stocks, we're starting to see a golden cross on a lot of its moving averages, just as it's coming off its recent breakout and is now stabilizing on its 200-day. So as we start seeing more upside on the moving averages and stabilization, this one could move sideways. And we still have a ways to go before Stochastics is in the overbought level. Bollinger Bands too is right in the upper band, so we should see this move sideways as the 20-day moves to catch up to it. So with that, I'll send it over to you, Gran.
And again, this is Grand Kuka, the Predatory Lender, talking to some kids here about the Christmas season. Now kids, we understand Christmas just recently passed. Now I was wondering, did you kids get all the toys and games that you guys wanted?
Yeah. Yes.
And what kind of toys and games were they?
Well, I got like 3 DSi games this week, and they were the Jonas game, Kingdom of Hearts, and the game that you create them all.
And how about you? What kind of toys and games did you get?
I actually got a DSi. I didn't really want many games. I wanted the money instead.
What kind of things did you do with all the money you got?
I still didn't buy a lot of things. Cooking Mama. We got Cooking Mama. Yeah.
Now, who makes these games? What toy manufacturers or game manufacturers make them?
I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
Well, that's a mystery on the investment front, but I'm sure there are good toys and games that these kids are buying for you, and they're getting, so holiday sales should be good. Now, we're out here talking to some of the famous toys of the year, and we have Elmo. Now, Elmo, yes. For the last couple of years, Elmo products have been the #1 toy, but this year you got bumped out by a robotic hamster. Now, how does that make you feel to lose the #1 position to a robotic hamster?
I think that sucks. I think they should get rid of all the hamsters in the world, because that's not fair. I'm the #1 toy. Who wants to play with a rat anyway?
The toy and game manufacturers had quite a mixed season. Now, how do you think the toys and games did this season?
I think it did well, especially with me on the shelf. Everybody loved me. And plus, they got a lot of other toys too, like Mattel, like Elmo, me, Batman, Robin, and all of us other characters too. We all on the shelf too. But I'm the most popular one, guys.
Well,
yeah.
Now, Elmo was the most popular one last year, and he was kind of bummed out by the fact that a robotic gerbil beat him out for #1 toy. Now, how do you feel about a robotic gerbil being the #1 toy?
I don't think of that #1. People watch my shows all the time, and they love my movies, so they really like me a lot, though. Kitties love me.
Now, this season, video games and the toy manufacturers have had a mixed season. What do you think were the toys and games for this year?
I heard something about some crazy gerbil or something selling off the shelves. I never saw the damn thing. I try to stay away from gerbils personally, if you know what I'm talking about.
Well, as I know, it was some sort of robotic gerbil. Now, what do you humans do with those kind of things?
I don't know. I like chicks. That might be popular in West Hollywood, but here in Hollywood, I don't do gerbils. So I don't know if they're into the shaking and the vibrating and the craziness or what the hell they're doing with them. What kind of cracks and crevices, and I have no idea, friends. What does one do with a robotic gerbil?
That's the question I'm asking. Now, I've heard some very strange and unusual things that you humans kind of do with hamsters. Is it true that humans actually do that?
I've heard people like Richard Gere. I heard about him and a hamster. Or no, it wasn't a hamster. It was a a gerbil, but it's the same family. I don't know. That sounds yucky.
So it's true that humans do crazy things with hamsters.
I think so, and that's probably why they voted it the #1 toy.
Now, on the holiday sales, we were going to have a discussion on toys and video games. Now, what is your outlook for last season Christmas toys and video games?
Well, last season, the toys were very kind of short because we were in the middle of a recession almost with the economy and the changing of the president. But this year, I think people are going more for the goofy kind of games. Not so serious, not so warlike, but stuff to have fun with. Like Boggle and stuff like that.
Now, which manufacturers do you see making these products?
Milton Bradley. They've been around for years. They make stupid games.
What about Hasbro or Mattel?
Hasbro's good.
Hasbro's good?
Mattel is a lot of Mattel stuff is getting recalled.
Okay. And what's your outlook for next season?
Next season, the sky's the limit, baby. The economy is going to be going on, and it's going to be much, much better. Everybody's going to be working, and the president will be in for his second office. Yay, Barack. And I think everything will be hunky-dory.
Now, what kind of stocks do you see? You mentioned Mattel being a good product. Do you see any other toy or video game manufacturers being possible good investment opportunities at this time?
Yeah, Sega.
Sega?
Yeah.
That's by what? Sony?
Yeah, Sega is, Sony.
Okay. Now, of the video game manufacturers, which video game company you do prefer? Take-Two, Activision?
GameStop.
Who?
GameStop.
GameStop?
Activision.
Activision.
Yeah, Activision, because I like skateboarding games.
So what's your favorite game?
Well, my favorite game, my personal one is, it has to be Madden 09 for the Xbox 360. Mine's is NBA 10 and Madden 10.
Do you think your parents spent more money this year than they did last year?
Yeah, my mom actually, she got an advance income where they gave her $500 now and give her the rest later. Whoa.
Do your family spend more on you this year than they did last year?
Well, I think so. Yeah, they did because they got me a $50 gift card to iTunes and the iTouch. So yeah, so I know. Yeah, they did.
Okay. How about you?
Famous. He's rich.
Yeah. Yeah, they did because they got me more presents.
Yeah,
That's why I think that, yeah. Because this one I didn't ask for so much. So that's what they wasted more to get. Yes.
Now, did you get everything you wanted for Christmas?
Well, I didn't ask for much, so I didn't get everything because I wanted a few stuff, but a lot of it was too expensive, so I didn't ask for it.
So with this economic stuff going on right now, do you see that as a hardship for your family, or is everything okay?
Like in between.
After all that research, you can see that there are only 5 companies worth buying at this time. And the first one is WebZen, with its 5.0 out of 5 stars and no dividend yield. This one has quite good analyst ranking. But when you look at the charts, you can see it's under a lot of its moving averages, so this one looks just to be moving sideways for now. As for Blackboard, with its 4.2 out of 5 stars and no dividend yield, this one has a much more appealing chart formation at the time, moving in a steady upward trend. Stochastics is starting to embed along with this upward trend. As for Skillsoft, with its 4.2 out of 5 star and no dividend, this one too is in an upward moving sector. Stochastics is just getting close to the overbought level right now, so be careful with this one. As for Activision Blizzard, this one is currently under pretty much all of its moving averages and looks to be having some trouble ahead. As for Hasbro, with its 4.0 out of 5 stars and its 2.5% dividend yield, this one is quite an interesting company and is having quite an uprun late. Stochastics are embedded, so we see more upside for this one. Also, when you look at the rest of the stocks in this sector, you can see these in the hold camp and these in the sell camp for you disgusting individuals who like to play the short side. So with that, I'll send it back to you at the studio.
And what do you think of the toy and game stocks, Jar?
Well, toy stocks are a seasonal trade and that's over. But as far as the video game manufacturers, they can run to the middle of June at the E3 conference and then take profits.
And what do you think of them, Annie?
WebSync is all over the place. Watch for new games like the Reign of Revolution. Blackboard is always a good buy. Everyone is playing their Blackboard Mobile. Skillsoft. The schools love this one, but will be up again when the kids go back to school. Activision Blizzard. Games, always new ones coming. Hasbro has Potato Head, Iron Man, Transformers. The stock is going.
Well, that's the show for now. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give us 5 stars and happy hunting.